Welcome to Framework Fortune, and welcome back all you amazing individuals in the Framework Fortune community. It's time for some live stock trading, so let's not waste any time and dive right in. I am currently in HYMC. I grabbed HYMC on Friday in this bounce off of the trend line at 197. So I'm in the green, looking for it to continue to hold up as gold shot all the way up to 1975 earlier this morning, and then it's currently trying to hold this 1950 support, which I think we're going to see that happen. But let's go ahead and dive in. There's a lot going on in the precious metals world that I'll get into in a little bit. Let's see what we got going on. The NQ dying. No surprise there. I was saying this last week when we got rejected up here. We were probably just going to keep dying all the way back down to the bottom as we got all this space to drop. Probably to 1300. And then if we crack 1300, the real crash is more than likely going to start. Let me run through this list. SST. Move that downtrend there. That's kind of falling off of that trend line. I'm going to still keep it on watch, but I think it's done. BWV was the one that had a huge sell-off. I am swinging 5 shares of that. I got in Friday about, where did I get in at? Towards the end of the close. Not able to hold up so far, a little gap down. But part of that is, the whole entire market is pretty much dying right now. Let's see what else is going on here. LYRA, nothing there. TCAT, nothing there. Hoth I saw was up. Another cancer drug. So we're getting a lot of these cancer PRs. And here's the thing, everybody can't cure cancer. So some of these PRs are definitely garbage, and I guarantee Hoth is probably one of them. Yeah, the cancer treatment shows promise. But what are they in as far as testing here? That's another mRNA. I'm telling you, it's all going to gene editing. All the health and medical, it's all going to gene editing. It's the future of the medical industry. Let's see. Development of its K. So they were granted orphan drug designation, which is not that big. Yeah, I'm not going to keep an eye on this. I don't think this is going to continue to move today. It could, but way too high up. And that press release is not that great. TRIB, they got a partnership, somebody in South Korea. It is pretty low float. 20 million shares, 2 million in volume already traded, but it's below that 200. I ain't gonna mess with that. Don't like that. Don't like none of that. This is all looking crazy. SBFM. I don't like that either. Okay, we got Veru. That's ripping. Why is Veru ripping? Oh, okay. Looks like positive phase 3. So we'll throw that up there. That looks like a buyout or something. Beebly, approving video game license. Like this right here is what people don't understand. Like communism, socialism, all that. This is what happens. The Chinese government gets to decide what video games come out. Video games, right? So everybody who pushes all this nonsense nowadays, that's what they're asking for, is for President Xi Jinping, or in our case, Joe Biden, to tell us what video games we can play and what we can't play. But anyway, American Airlines popping up a little bit. Don't like none of that. HYMC, of course, is up. Tilray, that's a pot. That's another pot company. That's still getting action. Twitter's just been a joke. If you wasn't in Twitter in that original gap up, you just got played by Elon Musk. That's why I never wanted to touch Twitter, because if you're not in before Elon, well, then you're trading against the world's richest man, so you're probably not going to have a chance. So, I know my place in the world. I am not going to trade a stock that Elon Musk is trading or in or whatever. All right. Wow, nothing else really going on, which makes sense. Couple of metal stocks up besides HYMC. Some silver. Yeah, silver did pop a little bit. Got GEVO, that's popping back up. Oil play. But oil's down at 94. Few oil plays warming up. At least warm today. Yeah, I don't see anything else that I want to trade. So it's either going to be, unless something new pops up, it's more likely going to be Veru. Although Veru is really high up at the moment. I need to see a pullback probably to 5 before I even think about an entry. And I don't know, I may add to HYMC. That could be another possibility. Hey, what's up, Austin? How's it going, my friend? Now, of course, crypto market pulling back as well with this big pullback on the NQ. A lot of everything, has pulled back. The only thing that hasn't is silver and gold. Now, there's, as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I'm waiting for more people to get in here before I start talking about what's going on in the metals market, because there's a big whole shenanigans of hoodoo that just happened that should be all over the news, and is absolutely not. It is not on the news anywhere. And it's crazy that it's not on the news. This is like what happened in the nickel market. Insanity. Insanity should have never happened, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But palladium skyrocketing this last couple of days as well, as palladium is used in a lot of things, including catalytic converters. But we just saw nickel go ballistic. Nickel hit all-time highs. Copper hit all-time highs. We got silver and gold that's been testing. But a lot of the action's been in the other metals because of the craziness going on. Yeah, I am not seeing anything I like, so I'm just going to chill out a little bit, watch HYMC, watch these futures, keep an eye, see if anything pops up, something else pops up on the scanner. That could be a potential trade. See what they purchase. let's see, they purchased their ADSs 225 add. Now, you know what? I'm going to put this TRIB on watch. It's below the 200, but there's just not anything else going on. So, besides HYMC, Hoff, and Varu. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Let's see, you had a little bit of 4% on the WBD IPO. Let me see what that's looking like. Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Let's shot straight up, coming right back down on that 1 hour. We got 15 minutes to close, but it's held so far halfway its gains. Testing that, that's what it's doing. It's testing that 25, but that was a perfect U shape. Nice play catching. You know, even though it was a little wind, nice play catching this U shape and pre-market and getting that initial run out the gate. Based off of DISCA, it's saying It's a Warner Bros. Discovery stock. Series A common stock. So it has something to do with Warner Bros. I don't know if DISA, DISC. Let's see what it is. DICA. Maybe not. I can't get the DISCA. DISCA. Discovery Communications. Yeah, so it's it's just a different class of stock pretty much. But the fact that it could rip $3 pretty quickly makes me want to keep it on watch. Let's see. See, even on this hour chart, we're still so far above that dollar area. We're basically, and we got rejected at 150 and 175 both, so it's got to re-break 150. And then it's probably going to be about 25 cents to 175. I don't know. I just don't like it being up so high. Veru, are you trying to go again? 775 is holding up on Veru. Let me see this on a 5-minute. Let's take a look-ski. See, the float is around 80 million. Let me check on Yahoo Finance real quick, find out what this actual float is. There it is. Now it's starting to pull back a little bit. I was gonna say we should see some type of pullback, but we might not. You never know. See, trend line is here, something like that, and we got the top of our little channel like that. This is not a triangle at all, but this is the channel of consolidation that we are currently in. Okay, gold still holding 1953. Veru 60 million in float. 30% held by insiders, 20% by insiders, 30% by institutions. 5% of the float is short, so there is a little bit of shorting going in there. Let's see. Yeah, gold just having that pullback, but starting to bounce already off of 950. God, the NQ is barely holding 1400. If the NQ cracks 1400, we're done today. Let's see. China is locking down for COVID again. That's interesting. Tech stocks poised to slide as bond yields climb. Yeah. These income I want to read about these income strategies. Now, what in the hell are they talking about? The deflationary cycle that helped feed tremendous gains? What do you mean deflationary? It's been inflationary. Alright, never mind. I'm not going to read anything. They're already driving me crazy. Deflationary. We've literally had the market going straight up into a giant bubble balloon. That is inflation. That's inflationary. That's not deflationary. Who are these economists who are writing these articles? Like, I am not a master economist, but that's basic knowledge. Heck, what the hell? How did y'all get that so wrong? Anyway, these geniuses, these academics. You know, there's a point where you get so smart that you become dumb. And that's where all these academics and college degrees. Oh, you are tempting me. Don't you tempt me, Varu. I really don't want to get in this high. But it's still holding at 775. Let me look on the daily chart. How much room do we have to run on this thing? We've got some... Yeah, major resistance at 8. That's why it's struggling there. After 8, it's about 850. And then if we break 850, we can see all the way up to 9 or 10. All right, don't you start here. Don't you start breaking out yet. Let me flip back into this hour chart. Man, see, it's like just going straight up, but at the same time, let's see. Adam Feuerstein tweets, Varu is run by Mitch Steiner. Tread very carefully. Not exactly sure who Mitch Steiner is, or Adam Feuerstein, but apparently he's saying to be careful with Varu because whoever Mitch. It's gonna, man. I hate having to try to get an entry this high on this thing. I'm deciding whether I want to or not. No, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. If I buy this at the top right here and it doesn't break out, there's just so much room it could drop back down. So... it's really testing though. No, I'm going $10 on it, or 10 shares. I'll risk 10 shares. Starting to break 8. Got in at 803. The reason I'm willing to risk it with 10 shares is because the downtrend is down at 7. So, 10 shares, I'm risking $1 a share, which would be $10 for this to potentially run, a couple of more dollars. We're testing 825 right now. See if we can get through that. We need to get through it. We don't want to get rejected at 825 because then we're going to be testing 8 again. We want to see this go ahead and continue to break out. There we go. Breaking over 825 up to 840. I'm going to say 850 some resistance. We're hitting 850 now, right through 850. Oh, nope, it is going to hold up at some resistance. So we are getting a little bit of action here. We are just now outside of this channel, so we need to start holding above the channel. Another test to 850. Looks like we may break it. Yep, taking all those sellers out. Okay, we've not broken yet. Those still getting rejected, but pecking at a lot of these sellers. But we do want to break it soon. Bam, right through 850 again. Bids trying to stack. There we go. They're starting to stack. We're moving on up to 860, 865. Should see 875 in just a second. We're about there. We're going to blow right through it and go ahead on up to 9. Yes, we are. Right through 875 up to 9. Can we get through 9? Getting a little rejection at 9. 875 trying to hold as support. Bids are stacking. There we go. Oh, no, still fighting with 875. So we did get all the way up to 9 with a rejection. We just need to see 875 hold as support now. That's a dollar rip outside the top of this channel though. So far. Didn't want to buy it this high, but the setup was looking too good. Still trying to hold 875. There we go. Bids starting to stack. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Still stacking. Still stacking. Oh. Come on, bids. You got to hold that 875. If we don't start pushing the 9, I may just take this little scalp. Let's see if it can start to fail 875 as support. 865 trying to hold. Oh, did my computer just freeze up? Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Pushing right through 875. Is able to hold up. Let's see if we get... Oh. We had another quick shoot up. I think we're about to test 9 again here in just a second. The bids are stacking, going above 875. Let's see if bids start holding 890. Come on, get up there on 890. Stacking at 880. Struggling real hard. It's a fight right now. Can you hold? Trying so hard to hold up. Up back above 875 again. And here comes that test to 9. Here comes that test. Come on. A little bit of selling at 890. There we go. Bids over 890. Come on. Boom. Hitting 9. We almost broke through it. There we go. Starting to break 9. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. You can do it. You're trying so hard. We got another rejection, but we did push a wick up over. Want to see that 875 hold still. And looks like, let's see if this candle can push up and give us another test of 9. We should be good to go. Can you get it? We don't want to go back down to 875. We need to see these bids moving back up to 890. The bids are trying to stack at 885, but I want to see them stack at 890. Once they start stacking there and not getting taken out, we should see that test of another break of 9 here. So the bids are above 890. Oh, bids just moved up to $9. That's even better. I'll take the bids at $9 because that means we are about to go. Let's go, baby. Come on. How much more you got? We should have all the way up to 10. Hit 945, hit 950, right through 950. So we are getting held up at 950. We want to see it break through 950 pretty quickly. If we get held up there, that may turn. And actually, all we got to do, is the same thing I've been doing all week and last week. Draw a short-term channel. Just like we had the big channel, we can take that channel off. Now we're in this short-term channel. As long as we stay in that channel, we'll be good to go. What's up, Sicilian? What's happening, bud? Giving another test of 950 here, breaking through 950. Another rejection. Bid stacking over 950, starting to. Let's see if I can keep. There they go. Come on. Keep stacking on them bids. Beautiful. Come on. Hold it up. Hold up 950. Up. So where's the bottom of this? 869. Let me go back to the daily chart on this and look at all this resistance. Bid stacking at 950 again. I'm actually going to remove this line. I can't see. Yeah, there's resistance at 950 quite a bit. We could get rejected here, but I would say psychologically, traders are going to want to try to go ahead and push this to 10. I don't think it's hard to say. It is failing to hold 950 on the bids so far. But psychologically, I mean, this close to $10, traders are going to want to probably see it there, but maybe not. Let's see, back up to 940. Can we get these bids over 950? We stacked 950 again, which we're starting. Ooh, we almost did. We took a bunch of sellers out, but got rejected off of it again, and bids yet to stack. We were really struggling with this 950 area. Next 5-minute candles open up. Let's see if it pushes its green or if it pushes red. If it starts pushing red, I'm probably just going to hop out because we're probably going to pull back if we can't get over 950 here. Up, up. trying. Here goes another test. Breaking through 950. Let's see if his bids hold this time. Nope. Bid's still not able to hold. Another rejection. This is starting to possibly look like a double top. If we do not push back up green, we're going to drop all the way back down to the 865. You know what? I'm going to put a stop loss right under 9. So no matter what, this will be a profitable trade. If it does happen to crack down below 9, it's trying to hold, but if it starts, if we can't hold like 925 or 915, then we are going to have a pullback. So, and then again, if you draw that little channel, it's testing the bottom of this channel now, looking like it may fall over. So I'm good there. I'm gonna hold that. That'll be, like I said, another win, either a small win if I get stopped out, but that with HYMC over the last week and now today, I'm like 6 for 8 trades. They're all been very small trades, but my win rate is on fire right now. Oh, well, this swing on BWV might end up, I may have to get out of it if it starts dropping too much. I was wanting to hold it a little bit longer, see if it's going to start bouncing, but alright, well, let's just hang in here in Veru. Hoff's still at that $1.30, not doing anything. Let's see, let me look around. IVDA, I don't like, well, that actually is pretty low. No, I don't like it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I'm not paying attention to the nonsense. Only going to pay attention to what is moving. Close to, it's testing 9 here, so I may be close to getting stopped out, which would be alright. Because that's still, it's still $1 run per share. So I will take it. So Sicilian, oh yeah, I just got stopped out there on that 10 shares. That's fine. That's what I was saying when I entered this play, was we had, the 2 parts of the channel, but we were so high up already, I didn't want to risk a whole lot to try to get this little run. I'd have much rather been in on the trend line, but that setup was just looking too good as it was testing $8 down here and testing that top of that, getting ready to test that top of that upward trend line. So it's still trying to hold 9. It may have wicked me out, just to wick me out. Market makers might have grabbed my order. Actually, they grabbed a few people's orders because it dipped down to 893. Oh, nope. This candle opening outside of our little sloping channel. Let's see if it pops back into that channel or if it's going to dump here. It's trying to hold 1925. There it goes. If it rebreaks 950, then you're going to see a test of 10 here. And it's coming up on 950 pretty hard. But, it could have easily just dumped after that channel break there. All right, give me just a second, guys, and then I'm going to talk about. Irish, I'm going to take just a couple minute break here, and then when I get back, oh, look at that. Look at that. Up to 975. Is it going to break 975? And hit that 10 mark? Yeah, it is. There it goes. And this is what I was saying. I thought more than likely they were going to push it to 10 on that last candle, but we had to have a pullback, a little breather first. That one got up to a high of 987, so that's close. Still not quite hitting 10. But this thing is definitely bullish right now. All right, I'll be right back, guys. And then we're going to talk about the metals market because Veru is pretty much the only. Look at that. About to test 10. There's a lot of selling there. But a lot has transpired in the metals market. A whole lot of crazy, crazy stuff that should be all over the news. If this rips over 10, this may end up seeing some type of halt or something because it's starting to break 10 now. Nope, still getting rejected. All right, give me a couple of minutes. I'll be right back, guys. Oh, and it did get halted, so I called that right too. I said if it broke over 10, it was probably going to get halted, and it did. So I left a bunch of money on the table. That's okay. You know, I have my stop loss probably a little too tight, but I just did not trust the stop being up that high and my entry. You know, I was in right as this consolidation broke, which is, pretty high off there. Where did you get in at, Sicilian? Because I see you said you had 100 shares and it kept falling. There's not really anywhere where it's been falling at. That's the whole reason why I got in. Did you get in like right through here in this consolidation? 867. What'd you lock out at? Thank you, One Life. I just now saw your comment. Appreciate that. If you locked in the green, then that's all that matters, man. I did the same thing. I got out. My stop loss. I moved that stop loss in real quick. Got hit, and yeah, I should have put it at 889. I should have put it below 890, as 890 was the support that it was trying to hold for the break. But it is what it is. Hopefully other people are making money on this play. Like I said, I got in late. I would have much rather been down here on the trend line, but I didn't start streaming and looking at the market till after. But that's the thing you got to keep in mind. Everybody who was in back here, they're going to start selling at some point. None of these sell-offs. I mean, this is a 5-minute chart that I'm looking at. There's been 3 little sell-offs. These 2 are barely anything. And then that one comparatively is nothing. So I would imagine out of this halt, the all-time high year is 1118. So it's only 20-30 cents away from hitting an all-new high. We may see it gap up out of this halt and make a quick shoot up and then pull back down. However, there's nothing really else going on at the moment. Yeah, like Hoth is still trying to curl over but doesn't look that great. TRIB doesn't look good. WBD is back down towards that IPO price, which I know somebody, I forgot who shouted that out, but it did. Well, actually, there's your downtrend, and there's the bottom of the downtrend, your channel. So if it can break up over 25 again, then it could be a play. Get back live, but 25 is going to be your main resistance on that. All right, let's see how Veru opens up, and then like I said, this is what I've got to talk about today. Should be on every single news channel, and it's not, and this is unbelievable. But the charts do not lie. Oh, Hal posting that Elon won't join the Twitter board in the Discord. Now, I posted the article last night in the Discord. It said everybody must read this article. So if you haven't read it yet, that's fine. We'll get into it. But just to show real quick. 902. So yeah, you still got in the green. Okay, there we go. We're pushing up. We didn't really gap up, but we're pushing up. Made a new high a year, but we're probably going to see a pullback. Well, never mind. Maybe not. This thing might just go. Oh, no, look at it starting to pull back now. Right at that high of the year. That's what I thought it was going to pull back. It's starting, let's see. If 11 holds us support here. Nope, 11's, boy, this thing is volatile right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen right this second. Looks like it's starting to hold up, though. A lot of selling at 11.50. And you can extend that channel. So, I mean, if you're in it and holding it, as long as you're in that channel, you're good. But it is getting rejected so far off of that area. I know, man. I know. It could have been a $300 win, man. I understand. I understand the pain of leaving all that money on the table. But consistency is more important than, locking in, holding this for it to possibly continue to break. Like I said, it was really high up as it was. So, yeah, you can see we're getting rejected there. Okay. All right, I want to get into this the story that should be mainstream news and is not. Let me pull that guy up. Where did it go? Where did you pull up? Here we go. So we're going to be looking at charts and everything. And I'll keep an eye on Veru. But right now, it's got to figure itself out in this channel. Whether it wants to break even more or if it's going to give up or come down to the bottom of the test. 1050 is the bottom of the channel. It looks like it's getting close to that. All right, anyway. Here's the article. I'm going to post this in the live stream right here. Okay, so you can see 18 minutes of trading chaos that broke the nickel market. Get out of here. This happened on March 13th. I didn't find out about this till yesterday, so I'm a month behind on this story because it was nowhere. It was absolutely nowhere. But you can see when the commodities price went vertical last week, the metals industry plunged into turmoil not seen since the tin crisis. All right, that's the headline of everything. I'm going to give you guys the basic rundown. So, because of the whole Russia thing, Russia, I believe, is one of the larger exporters of nickel, which nickel is used in all types of things, especially EV, just like silver is. But why this happened is not because of the Russian thing, but because of a Chinese tycoon named Zheng Guangda. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. He owns Tingxing Holding Group. They are a very big nickel company. And he went short because of the Russian thing going on and everything like that. And he owns like quite a bit of the supply of the world's nickel himself. He went short because they ramped up production of nickel. He thought that he was going to be able to hold the nickel prices down and cut out all of his competition. And he also got with JP Morgan, surprise, surprise, which is Chase, and a few other banks. Now, the problem was, or is, partly inflation, but nickel ran from 50K to 100K. It was up 240%. So when I say this guy was short on nickel, I'm not talking about like he had 100K or a million. He had billions of dollars short against nickel. And that caused this short squeeze as we have inflation and the Russian thing. Well, Here's the part that should be in every piece of mainstream news, and it's not. Instead of letting everything go, the LME, the exchange that he was shorting on, decided to roll back $3-something billion in trades from the day when the day after the original nickel squeeze. You know, the nickel squeeze happened too fast. There was nothing they could do about it. But somehow, some way, they decided that they can just roll back all that money and all those trades. So everybody who was still profiting off of the short squeeze got completely pulled out of the trades. Like the whole entire LME market stopped, and they reversed all those trades on nickel. Unprecedented, unheard of, absolute nonsense. Okay, the LME is a London exchange. It's not a Chinese exchange where they can do what they want. This was a London exchange. This should have never happened. That is not free market. This jackhole who owns a whole bunch of nickel should have ate his losses. That's what the market is for. That is what shorting is actually for, is to keep jackholes like this who try to monopolize a whole industry from getting from monopolizing it, right? So he should have been squeezed out. He didn't squeeze out because they reversed all the things, reversed all the trade. He went more. He is still short so much on nickel right now. JP Morgan Chase as well backing this guy. This is not good for anything except for the people who saw the nickel short squeeze coming. So that was nickel, and I want to show you real quick. Yeah, like I said, read that article, and I'll tell you all of that. I'm going to pull up TradingView, and I'm going to show you on these charts, because the market, of course, crypto market's down quite a bit because of the NASDAQ just dying today. But with the NASDAQ dying, and, you see gold starting to break out here. I'm going to go ahead into one chart. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So, like, this all has happened in the last month. Nobody's talking about it. Literally the craziest nickel short squeeze, or any short squeeze, followed by unprecedented exchange. Pretty much, a dictatorship, I guess. What do you call it when a whole exchange reverses every single trade to save some Chinese tycoon's butt, and then the Chinese tycoon is still going short on this. So he's probably going to get what he's got coming to him. But anyway, let me get over here to these precious metals, because I want to show you it's not just nickel that went crazy. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Got too many lists. Here we go. Palladium just had a big shoot up yesterday, $200-something. And now you can see it's even continued today up to 25.40, starting to go bullish. This was a big spike on palladium. A $200 move, almost $300 move on palladium is a big move. So the metals market, just all the metals in general, are getting a lot of attention because of these short squeezes that's happening. And if you've been following and heard me talk about silver and how that they've been using the futures the same way that Xing is trying to use the futures to short and hold the prices of nickel down, is the same way that all the major silver companies use the futures to hold silver down. So, now the question is, would the NASDAQ or the CME here in America shut down and reverse a bunch of trades if a major company like Chase was short against silver and silver started squeezing like that. Then you can see on nickel right here, you can really see the rip really nice on this future contract. But you can see where it just went ballistic at the beginning of March. It was down at 1,900 a contract, shot all the way up to 6,000 a contract. In futures, this type of move to the upside will make you rich. Like, you did not have to have a whole lot of money in this futures contract, you know, to get that type of big move. Like if you were on a prop trading or something, and you know, whatever. But will they shut it down? I think they will, because during the COVID dip, they shut down the market twice. They halted it due to too much dips. But you know, nickel having that huge spike. Copper just had a huge spike in March as well, running way up there. So now with palladium starting to go, the only things that are underbought are platinum, silver, and gold is starting already to try to test that 2,000 again. It's holding 1950. If it continues to hold, 2,000 is the top. We break 2,000 again, which I think we're going to, you know, especially with all this action happening in the metals market. A lot of attention is over there. That's why the stock market doesn't have as much tension right now, because of all this crazy stuff that's been happening in the metals market with nickel and this Xing guy. So if you haven't read this article, I highly recommend you read it. See, because what it's going to teach you, Bitcoin is on the way to zero. Yeah, okay. What this article is going to teach you is what I've been saying about these institutions competing against each other, which there was other institutions, of course, who saw what Xing was doing and went against him. So this is how the stock market actually works. This is the nonsense. This is the BS. We're little fish in a big old shark pool. And these sharks, you know, they're out here trying to monopolize more and more by using futures contracts to keep prices down. However, they're not incorporating the mass amounts of inflation. So, you know, seeing these... This is the market in action. He should have ate all those losses. He should have ate every bit of the billions that he lost, and instead they reversed it. That's when I talk about, like, in that's not any type of free market. It's just craziness. So with those type of squeezes happening, and looks like Baru bouncing off of that bottom of that 1150. But with those type of humongous squeezes happening in the precious metal world, I'm expecting to start seeing more action in the precious metal stocks, which I've been already saying that, but now seeing this news that should be literally everywhere and it's nowhere, about this nickel squeeze and the exchange actually reversing all transactions. You know, we're in crazy times right now. And that NQ is very, very close. It's trying to rebound off of that 1433. But if it can't get back over 14.1 here, I would say we're going to go ahead and dump some more. Let's see, HYMC, my swing on that. Pulling back a little bit, but not much. I'm not too worried there. Like I said, this is HYMC is a mining company. And gold very close to breaking out, so. WBD still sliding right down that channel. Nothing there. Baru looks like the play today. Looks like it might continue on. Testing 12 now for a possible breakout. All right, anyway. So that type of shenanigans going on, it may be even worth it to look at nickel stocks, you know. If he continues to get squeezed out, nickel could shoot again. And will they reverse transactions again? I don't think so. They did that move, and that was a real brazen move to do. But I'm expecting to start seeing more craziness like that, not just in the precious metals market, but all over the place. Because of all the uncertainty, all the money flowing and moving through all of these different assets. There goes Peru up to 1250. Testing it. Let's see if it break through. That's another new high a year. Bam, right through it. So very nice. Looks like this play's going to give some more. Hey, that's good for One Life, man. Nice trade for One Life. Looks like we're getting another halt here. So yeah, it's just going to be the Veru show today. Until this thing calms down, nothing else is probably going to rip. I mean, you just look at the buying volume that's been on this thing all morning. But again, it is up very high. So I don't know how much more it can keep running. Let's look on the weekly chart. So actually, I was mistaken. The high of the year was at 11 something. But the high on, looks like all time, is 24. Let me remove this uptrend here. Yeah, you're running a lot of congestion right here from 13 to 15. Back previously, like a year ago. It did break that overall downtrend on the weekly chart. So, I mean, if it can break through this 15 area, it could run up to 20. I don't know if it'll run all the way at 25, but 20 might be a possibility. I don't know. This right here, though, is the straight up move so far without any pullbacks. That's the thing that's concerning. Because when is this going to see a pullback? You know, this is a second halt to the upside. We've not had any halts to the downside, which means we've not had any selling. But this definitely does look like the play today. Let's see how's HYMC doing. HYMC just trying to hold above that 50-day on the week chart. Let me go back to the daily chart, though. Oh, on this week chart, actually, you can see HYMC is in a big triangle. I haven't actually looked at the week chart. Yeah, and you see, yeah. You can see it on the daily chart. Clear as day as well. Alright, well, we're halted again. Or, not again, we was already halted. So we'll give this, some time to get out of this halt. And we'll keep analyzing it for a little bit longer. I'll give the stream about 20 more minutes. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, or concerns. But yeah, definitely check out that article on what happened in the nickel market, because we're going to see more and more of that. More and more shenanigans. CYTO, this just popped out of nowhere. but running close, yeah, getting rejected at 150, at 200 day at 175. So nothing really there on that. I mean, TRIB, you do have an uptrend, but you got this downtrend as well. Just draw the channel on this one as well. You can do the same exact thing as the other play. Let's see. So we got about a minute. Look at this. How nice this was. Veru expected to resume at 11:42. When does that ever happen? They never tell us when something's going to come out of a halt. That's sketchy. I don't know. I don't know about that. You're holding till 31 life. I think you're talking a little crazy there. Why are you even holding? If you're using 3,000 shares at $6, this thing's done doubled in price. Take your profits and go, man. What are you doing? You're gonna risk it? A little gap up there, 13.50. It may go ahead to the 15. Nope. Starting to have a little pullback there again. Let's see. This thing's up 200%. Can it break through 13 and keep running? Well, there it goes. Starting to try. It's trying to push that 14. But again, even if we break 14, 15 is going to be where the major resistance is at. Bid stacking at 13, so it does look like it wants to hold here. I don't know, one night if this thing just blows right through 15, you might get some crazy. I don't know. I can't see this going over 20 today. At least without some type of big pullback somewhere along the way. Trying to hold 1350 here. And held it, so it's pushing back up. It's got to start holding 1375 next. Well, one life, all the beer is on you today. You taking us all out to lunch. Good job nailing this play super early in that $6 area. Oh, still struggling. Oh, never mind. It gave a little wick down there below 1350, but then it said, nah, we're going to try to hold 1350. God. Yeah. I'm starting to hold 1375. Looks like this thing might go again here. Can it get to 14? There it goes. This is 1375 held up, so now we're starting to push. There it goes. Testing 14. We threw a wick up there. Let's see if it can break out some more. Bam! What a run. Look at that. Straight up to 1450. Wow. This thing just will not stop going. It's getting rejected at 14. A little bit of a hard rejection off of 14. Back down to 1350. But it may just be a little breather. Let's see. 1350 trying to hold. Left a lot of money on the table. There was my pull. There was the pullback. Nah, this still not. I mean, this thing is ripping dollars. So I'm looking for like a pullback of, at least a couple of dollars, like some type of slowdown and consolidation. But this thing just is not slowing down. I'm just kicking myself now for having my stop loss too tight. Oh well. So 1457 new high. Looks like we're probably going to go ahead and get up to that 15 in just a few minutes here. Unless people start dumping. Oh, here it comes, maybe. We may be seeing... Let's see if 1350 holds or not. 1350 trying. Let's peek at them a little bit below it. Nope, there it is. 1350 held up. So pushing back up to 14. It's okay, Cecilian. I'm feeling your pain too, man. I'm sitting here feeling it as much as you are. Well, maybe not as much as you are, because I only went in 10 shares, but I feel your pain right now. You're not alone, my friend. But hey, again, you're green, I'm green, so there's nothing to complain about. We may not have got the whole rip, but at least we got something. Better than being in the red. We need to save those COVID deaths. I know I read the PR of One Life. There's cancer plays all over the place, and Veru's talking about their COVID vaccine. I understand, man. I understand, but this is not the only play. There will be other plays. You're still relatively new to trading. You're experienced now, but you're still relatively new. The most important thing, though, is to stay consistent. We did not. Me and you might not have got this full run on this play, but at least we didn't take a red trade. So if your consistency has been holding up, because you've been doing good, Sicilian. I mean, how many trades have you been winning versus your losing trades over the past couple of weeks? I know you're in a winning. You have a winning rate from everything that I've seen in the chat. So that consistency will continue to carry over, and you'll fill out. Some plays like this where it could have easily turned around. That's what I was worried about. It had already ran $3 and was up almost 100%. So you'd rather be safe. Like if I was in that where One Life was, it would be a different story. If I got in at $6 where One Life got in, instead of getting in right here in this little pullback at 8, I would feel a lot more safer. But I'm not gonna be before this whole rip happened, the rest of this rip happened, we were right here. This thing was 586 in pre-market, and it was almost to $10. That's almost a double in price. So, while yeah, this one you might have left $600 on the table, nobody knows for sure that this is going to continue to run like this. I mean, we broke through so many resistance lines. We even broke through the high of the year, and usually we see at highs, a new high a year, where stocks start to have a lot of selling pressure. So we can't be fortune tellers. But this play, you might have left money on the table. You might have been leaving money on the table for other trades. But as long as you're being consistent and you're not losing money, you're continually making small gains. Those small gains will add up, and you will eventually be able to capitalize on a big run like this. But for me, I was not going to, I'm not going to take a whole bunch of risk on this when I'm not down here on the trend line like One Life was. Because One Life being in on the trend line, 3,000 shares down here, he could have easily been selling right through here. Anybody who was down here could have turned around and just dumped this thing right where we were getting in at if it hadn't broken out. So, this one play, 2 plays, 3 plays that you might have missed, the main important thing is the consistency with your win rates. You will eventually get these big wins. You'll be a little bit more confident. You got to continue to build that confidence as a trader to know, like, hey, this thing may not sell off yet. I'm not going to lock out if we got this nice upward channel. That you saw all last week, and then so far today, where I'm using just simple directional channels here to make my trades. And if they crack out of the channel, I'm out. Pretty easy. And it just happened to throw that wick down there and stop me out because my stop loss was too tight. So yeah, I made $9. Could have made, what is this up to? $14. I was in an 8, 10 shares, 6. So could have been $60. But I would much rather be in the green than the red. And I will hit a play eventually, right? Probability, if you're continually winning, even if they're small trades, at some point you are going to be in a nice entry on a trade like this where you can get the full run and just continue to move your stop loss up, or just have a mental stop loss while it's riding upwards. But there will be, trust me, there will be plenty more trades like this where you can get $2, $3, $4, $10 a share. Especially with the volatility that we're about to start getting into with all the markets. Like I said, if the NQ drops below 14, a lot of big money is going to be on the sideline, and we're going to see these smaller plays continue to get some action. But now you can see, look, let's see if Varu cracks this. If Varu cracks right here, then it's going to be done for a while. It's going to come down and consolidate. We didn't even get to 15. We got to 14.57. Let's see. And look at there. Look at this candle here on the 5 minute starting to open to the downside, the bottom of this channel. So that upward momentum is starting to give. And that's kind of what I thought was happening here. That's why I had my stop loss in. I thought we were going to have a hard rejection at 10 and have to come around come back down, and come back up and test 10 a little bit later when we didn't automatically push. It's still trying to hang in there, so, you know, if it can hang on the bottom of this channel and push back up, it still could break out. We need to, you know, it's trying, but as far as HH and BWV, I agree with what you're saying, One Life, as far as adding to a losing trade. Averaging down, you know, can definitely get you in trouble. However, this play is not, I mean, okay, so let me put it this way. Let me show you why HH is in this like he is, and what his thought process is. This stock, in the past 3 years, whoops, I hit the wrong thing. Let's see. Oh, no. This was, okay, never mind. It's not the past 3 years. Where does that go back to? So let me just go to the daily chart. There we go. So this was an IPO, it looks like, and shot up to 90. Went sideways for a long time and then dumped really hard. Here's the thing. You only have this much more room down to zero, right? Zero's right here. So from where the candle is now to zero, you have that much space. That's your risk to the downside. Complete risk, possible zero. So you're risking maybe $8 a share, but your room at least just back up to the resistance and everything where it sold off at. And from what I've seen, there's no reason for it to sell off. You have a whole lot more room. So he may be risking $8 per share if it goes to zero, but he's risking it for a possible 40-something dollars to the upside. So $8 risk with 40-something dollar potential to the upside. That is, what? Oh boy. I don't know, like a 7-to-1 ratio. So it looks crazy what he's doing. I understand that. I'm in this as well, but I'm only in 5 shares. I'm going to swing it and hold it because I don't see any reason why this thing should be this low. And then it's also extremely low float. It's 11 million in float. So whatever this sell-off was not that many people selling, right? If it's only 11 million in float, then, and actually it's probably lower than that. I just showed you the rationality. The rationality's right here. It's not hope. There's no hope involved in this trade. The probability is here. You have a very small risk compared to a whole lot of upside. This had no reason to drop 40-something dollars. Again, look at, as I'm explaining it, look at the share size. There's only 11 million shares out there. Let's pull up Yahoo Finance. And let's check exactly what the float is, because I'm pretty sure it's smaller than 11 million. What is that play called again? I forgot to, BVW. Blue water vaccines. Okay. So the float is actually less than 1 million. So the float is 900,000. Held by 61% insiders, held by 7% institutions. There's no short float. There's only 10K shares short. So there's no shorters in this whatsoever. There's no shorters. So why? Because there's only room down to zero at this point. All the upside potential is there. There was no reason for this to drop. it dropped $50 because there's less than 1 million shares. The CEO could have had 200,000 shares. Let's see, what was the volume on this? On that pullback, 5 million shares. So there was some fighting going down there, and of course with that gap down. But it doesn't take much for one person in the top of this company, one of these insiders or institutions, to drop their position size, and this thing dropped $50. So at the same time, it doesn't take much if buyers come back in here at this low, cheap price to push it all the way back up. It is so low float. So, again, probability-wise, could this thing continue to sell off? Yeah. But why did it sell off in the first place? There's no news of them wanting to sell off or for a reason for this to sell off. Somebody just probably got scared because the NQ was diving. The NQ's been dumping, and they probably just dropped their shares, which, like I said, is not that there's not that many shares available. So one person, one millionaire, dropping their shares is going to cause that big of a drop. No, how are you getting the probability is that it's going to go lower? It can't go but to zero. And there's no reason for this to go to zero. Could it go to $5? Sure. But it's not going to just keep dropping and dropping and dropping when this is a brand new IPO and there's no reason for it to be dropping. Like, you're not calculating in the... Well, yeah, look at there. Pull this back down. We're cracking below that channel now. Looking pretty strong. Looks like that may be the high, just like it was Austin was saying. There's only 900,000 shares in the float. 900,000. It will not take much to make the stock liquid. If buyers come in, there's no shorters in the play, so there's no reason for anybody to short it. At this point, there's no reason for anybody to sell it because it's already had a $50 sell-off. Yeah, it's low volume because nobody wants to buy it right at this second. But there is buyers that's been slowly, barely coming in, holding it above 8. The main sell-off was here. What do you think? We're going to have another big drop down here? What are we going to drop? $7 to 0? There's not much more room down. All the room is to the upside. So if there's no shorters, there's nobody selling anymore. Where are you getting the probability is that it's going to get lower? You got to have somebody shorting it or selling it to drive the price lower. And there's neither. So nobody knows the true value of anything. The whole entire stock market has been artificially inflated. There's no true, if you think you're looking at anything and saying, oh, I know the true value of it, I can tell you right now, your head's so far up your ass, you're smelling the corn that's been growing there for years like a Nebraska field. So, yes, in general, One Life, I agree. Just because a stock drops a whole lot does not mean it's going to go back up. That is a general statement, and I agree with that. However, you can't argue a general statement against all of the facts that I'm showing you. The facts that the math, there's only 900,000 shares on this play.
The math is very easy. It isn't going to take much to push this thing back up when buyers do come in. And if there's no reason, why do you think it's going to keep going down? Tell me that. Why do you think it's going to keep going down at this point after it's already dropped 60 something dollars or $53? Again, though, One Life, again, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. And I'm not trying to defend H&H trade. All I'm saying is you can't just look at a trade that sold off a whole bunch and go, oh, well, it's never going to go back to that price again. You don't know that. Nobody knows that. I don't know if it's going to go back to 50, but the probability is it's going to go higher than where it is than rather go lower. But as far as adding to a losing trade, yes, that is something you don't want to do. You don't want to add to losing trades if it is a losing trade. Now, let me make this very clear. Just because you are losing a trade doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to lose the trade. So if HH wants to keep averaging down and getting this at cheaper and cheaper prices because it dropped a little lower than he thought, well, that's up to him. But there's going to be, especially in volatile times, there's going to be exceptions to trades. There's going to be exceptions. Like the Russian ruble just crashed crazily, and in a week, Putin put the ruble on the gold standard, and now he's reversed half the damage that the U.S. did within a week. We're talking about global scale currencies being moved right now. Huge nickel squeeze. Now palladium doing its crazy thing, and we've seen we've really not seen anything crazy in the stock market because this market's pretty much going down. But there is going to be exceptions to some trades because we're not in normal times. This is why I keep harping on this. The normal up market that we've been in the last 12 years, 14 years, going on 15, has been easy trading. Volatility like this, where trillions are being moved around all the markets, you're not going to be, I don't want to defend his trade, but at the same time, I see what he's seeing. I see the exact same thing and see the thought process. That's why I'm in it as well. I just went 5 shares because I didn't want to risk as much. This market being so volatile, I'm not risking very much on anything. But where are you? Nobody's hoping. H is not hoping this goes up. Just like I'm not hoping it goes up. I don't even care in this 5 shares because, like I said, the it's. I mean, you're. Let me do this, One Life. What is your technical analysis? What are you seeing on this besides low volume that makes you think this is going to go down? Because you're the one who is adamant about this going down. So why do you think it's going to go down more? See, where's Veru holding that? Whoops. So Veru is trying to curl back up. Looks like it may, even though it's trying to curl back up, I don't know if that's going to get back up. There's a little U shape, but it's getting rejected at 1350. HYMC holding nice right on that 50-day. On the 15-minute. Yeah, and right there, plenty of support under me on HYMC. At WBD, not doing very much at all, although this was the first day of this. I'm going to leave this on my watch list just to see what it does tomorrow. I wonder what the shares are on it. Or what the float is, anyway. So, One Life, if you get into a trade and you're on the trend line, or let's say you got in above the trend line and it dips down to the trend line, would you add in at all? Or are you cutting out because it started dipping? Like, are you cutting out as soon as the stock turns around on you? Because I'm just having a hard time understanding this coming from somebody who is trading a 20-something $1,000 account or more, probably more than that at this point. Because you could go 1,000 shares just like on WBD. Let's say you got in at 24 right here and it dips down to 23.60 and you got 1,000 shares. Well, do you cut out at that 23.60 or are you adding to it? So yes, you're cutting as soon as the trade turns red. As soon as you get into a trade in your entry, if it turns red immediately, you're cutting out of it. Because if that's the case, I'm going to call bullshit on you holding this whole position today that you've been talking about. Because if that was the case, you would have cut out right here. If you were in where you said you were. If you're cutting out as soon as it turns red, then how did you hold this whole play all the way up to here? I'm just saying. Yeah, Veru's looking done. Ooh, oil dropping some more. So, I mean, that pretty much leaves gold and silver as the commodities. Oh yeah, here's the palladium thing I was talking about earlier. Palladium soars on Russian refiner suspension. So palladium prices are soaring after the London platinum and palladium market suspended government-owned Russian refineries from its good delivery list on Friday. So this is another thing This stuff is going on in the metals market. And if you want to know why all this is going on in the metals market, all this crazy stuff right now and all this uncertainty, because metals are actual real money, not US dollars or fake stocks that you don't own. Metals is money. Currency is currency. US dollar is currency. But that's what all the big money is focused on right now is the metal markets. That's why we're seeing the NQ dying here. Because there's a lot of shenanigans happening there. So I agree, it's not a good idea to never let a green trade go against you. But if H was never green in the first place, I don't know. You let H defend it. I agree with most everything you said. One Life. It's just on this one particular stock that I don't think you have looked at it close enough, and you. Okay, so let me put it this way. Let's put it this way. You should want to always be in a green trade and lock out when you're in the green. It's not a great idea to add to losing positions if you don't know why you are adding to the losing position. If you know why you're adding it, if you have a thesis, and that is your trading plan, part of your trading plan is you're not worried about the risk to the downside too much because there's not that much risk. Well, if you've got a trading plan, then you're doing what you're supposed to. So whether or not it works out, who knows? But all I'm saying on that one play is more than likely it is got a lot more probability to go up. It could go down a little bit more, sure, to $5. But how low is it going to go before buyers start buying a new IPO that IPO'd at $90 for $5? That situation, that circumstance is a different circumstance than 95% of the trades that your rule that you're talking about would like that the trade is not in that 95% type of things that you're talking about. It's a psychological play. Now, if you don't want to take on psychological plays, there's nothing wrong with that. You can stick to, like you're saying, One Life, just cut the losses when you hit the stop loss and don't add to a losing trade. You can completely ignore BMWV or BWV and never trade it and still go make money like you did today on Veru. So, because you don't understand his trading plan, don't necessarily count him out or consider it being stupid if you especially are not really looking at the whole analysis of this play and the psychological analysis. You're mainly a technical analysis trader, which there's nothing wrong with. But I mean, how many times have you guys been in this live stream and nobody is looking at a stock and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this play right here is probably going to get some attention, like MARPS. When Indo was running, nobody was looking at MRPS. And I was saying, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I'm just saying, there are plays that might break the rules that could be worth it if they are a psychological play. But not every play is going to be that psychological, like a MARPS type of run off of sympathy of Indo, or like today, Veru is a psychological play. There isn't really that great of PR on it, but there's nothing else going on in the market. So because there's nothing else, moving, all the traders, it's all eyes on Veru. That's why I said earlier this is going to be the Veru show today. So Veru was a psychological play. This was a FOMO play. But just like I didn't really want to get in that little consolidation where it was kind of high, would you rather be buying in at the top of a stock or let's see, what is that? Veru, is up at 14. More than likely, Veru is not going to $0. Just like more than likely, BVW is not going to $0. But Veru could drop all the way back down to $5.66. We can see that clearly on the chart. Veru has been down to a low of $4.34. So the difference, between these two plays now is Veru has already had a big rip, and BVW had a big drop. So what happens when we have a big rip, One Life? When we have a big rip, why do we lock out at the top? Why do we lock out at resistance? Because the play is going to drop. So with BWV or any other play, if the play has already had a big rip to the upside and it's going to go down from the upside, well, when it has a big drop to the downside, vice versa, and it doesn't have to be technically the stock, but there's a lot more to it than just, HH Trader's lost his mind and he's just adding and adding and adding to a losing trade. He is adding to a trade at a price of $8, $9, $10 that last Tuesday was $63. And again, there's no shorting in this. So there's just not a lot of volume. And the reason is because buyers still not ready to touch it yet. But there's hardly any selling. There's nobody shorting it. The selling candles have gotten smaller and smaller. But anyway, I'm not going to spend the whole time. I don't know why I'm spending even this much time on this. We'll see. We'll see. And if it doesn't work out and he takes a big loss, that's on him. It's his money, his risk. It's his risk tolerance. Oh, Daniel B. You literally were bragging about how One Life was in 3,000 shares of Veru earlier and making so much money, and within an hour. So I guess One Life is as a beginner and he's dumb enough to trade it. Is that what you're saying, Daniel B? Are you calling your buddy dumb? I mean, that's cool if you are. Boy, man, the attempts are getting pathetic. With Bob, well, I mean, that's what I was saying the other day with Baba, and actually, to be honest, the more that is happening economically, like the news is not covered in the U.S. because they do not want people to know it. Russian businesses are opening business accounts in China, in digital yuan. The U.S. dollar is slipping as the world reserve currency. I've been calling for this to happen, and now we're actually starting to see signs, real legitimate signs of the U.S. dollar slipping. in the economic world. So right now, while we are messing with Ukraine and Russia, China's still making money. And China does not care. And they are making deals. They just made the deal with Saudi Arabia, or still working on it, for oil and buying the oil in the digital yuan. Baba, being a Chinese company, could stand to see quite a big advantage from the digital yuan becoming the world reserve currency. Now, is this going to happen fast or slow? I don't know. I've never been alive for a world reserve currency at this magnitude, and even in history, we've not had one of this magnitude going to possibly slip. So, yeah, Baba's down for sure, but so it definitely does have potential where it could bounce and go back to the upside. You're right as far as Austin, or what you're saying, when you're looking at it like the space that it has to drop. Like, maybe this drops to a 0, which would be quite a drop from 100 down to 0. There's your space to there. But it could get back up to that high of 320. And this is not a garbage penny stock, so this analysis, I'm sure Daniel B. can appreciate. This is not a dumb penny stock for beginner traders, as he put it so eloquently. So, I mean, by that logic, by that simple math, it is possible. Basically, if you were risking the whole $100 down to 0 for a $200 in profit gain, you're risking $100 for $200. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So it's not a terrible, by that logic, it's not terrible. But again, though, to One Life's point, because I don't want to take away from what One Life's been saying as well, just because a stock does drop quite a bit from all-time highs, and that's any asset, whether it be crypto, gold, whatever, just because it's dropped from an all-time high quite a bit doesn't necessarily mean it's done dropping yet. So this was not as quick as drop as BWV. Like, this was a nasty pullback. This pullback has been going on for, a year and a half on Baba, 2 years. The pullback on BWV happened within a day. So there's a difference there, and that's called the velocity of money, basically, where how much money is coming in or going out according to a time period. So BWV had a huge velocity jump where the money just flew out of it all of a sudden. Baba has been slowly selling off, and that's the kind of the difference between the two as far as the amount of dip, because like I said, this was a $200 dip from that high. Now, it is still bearish because it's not going to be bullish until it breaks up over 170. So, if you're getting in around 100, maybe 100 holds, and then maybe we see it try to push back up, but it's still got to get through all of this resistance before it can really unlock to shoot up to 300. Is it going to drop to 0? I highly doubt it. It's Baba. So could it drop maybe to 75, maybe 50 again? That's a possibility. The all-time low looks like was 57 back in 2016. So overall in the time frame, it's actually, quite a bit cheaper. Than what it was. But it just again, like, the difference here is a $90 difference to 0, where like BWV is an $8 distance to 0, right? So there's a lot more room down to 0 on this play, but compared to the upside, there's a lot more room to the upside. And that's similar, but like I said again, on BWV, that velocity, how fast this dropped, that's why H and I as well think we're going to see some type of rebound on this. Will it get all the way up to 60 or 50? I don't know, but if it shoots $10, if it gets back up to just right here at 14, or it breaks 15 and gets up to 20, that's still a very nice rip from the current prices. Oh, let's see here. This NQ is really testing right now. Yeah. Looks like we may even crack 14 today on the NQ. Like here shortly. Because we had that little rebound, but getting rejected at 14.1 and coming back down so far with very little buying volume. So Veru's got a little triangle there. Little flag pattern. Now this is the pullback I was talking about. Something more than just one little 5-minute candle of pullback. So this is healthy, but it could pull back more if it can't hold up above 13. Yeah, you can see it real clear on this hour chart. Yeah, if it cracks there, it could come down to 11.25, right where the 10-day is. But then after that 10-day, if that cracks 11, there's nothing stopping it from dropping all the way back down to 7 on Veru. So I'd be very careful with it at this point. HYMC curling its way back up. That's what I like to see. And gold still holding. Oh, but anyway, the point I was making before I get back into your comments about Baba, Austin, not to take away from One Life's argument, I do want to highlight one thing that he said. Shit, what was it? Now I'm forgetting about it. What do you expect from Michigan people? 5-10 years from now, Austin, could be. You could be. I mean, it's very possible. Like I said, if the U.S. dollar slips as reserve currency, you just completely missed the whole part, DB, where I was talking about the U.S. reserve currency possibly slip into the Chinese digital yuan, and Baba is the Amazon of China. I mean, what y'all think hope is I don't know. Anyway. Wow, yeah. So Daniel B is just trolling at this point. And if he's talking trash about a stock that's over $100 like Baba, then he's just talking trash. Don't even worry about it, Austin. Don't let him get to you. Here's the most important thing. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this, and then I'm gonna call it a day, and I'll be back later on the crypto channel for a crypto update. Not really much to update as that market's just pulling back with the NQ. But this is what I'm going to leave you with. If I'm speaking to everybody here, if your trading strategy is consistent and it's profitable, I don't care what anybody else has to say, because the bottom line is make profit. That's it. You know, if you want to add more into it, like I'm the best trader or I'm the best technical analysis, you want to do all that, you want to fall into the human nature ego trap, you know, like Xing, the guy who tried to short nickel. That was an ego play, and he's paying billions of dollars for it. That can happen to us on the same level, and a smaller level, as retail traders. If you are consistent and profitable, it does not matter how you get to the finish line, as long as you're getting to the finish line. And if your strategy is working for you and you're crossing that finish line quite a bit, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Period. That's the most important thing, is learning to be your own trader. Make your own decisions. Don't let other people sway your decisions. You had the trading thesis. You did your research. Trust yourself. And if it doesn't work out, that's what the stop loss is for. Right? So, doesn't matter how you get there. Just matters that you get there. Appreciate everybody joining me as always. Stay safe out there. Till next time.
This is for me. Think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me. I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak.